played that cafe game yesterday for them, I feel like it's a very good thing for them.
Now, I feel like you mentioned the Dplus side of things, not having necessarily the best of post plants. How do we counter that on the Scarz front? Do you think they are able to hold their own against them?
I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to plant on Cafe. Cafe is a map where we do see the diffuser going down quite often. There's loads of nice little execution you can do, whether you're talking top floor and you go for something that we saw M&M showcase yesterday, just a plant underneath the skylight and try and hold it from above. Bakery, you can start thinking about getting the plant down. You're laughing because it didn't work very well. But it can work, and it can work,
so
I promise
cool.
you.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's loads of opportunities to get it down. Equally, there's tons of opportunities to retake. The top floor is really important to keep hold of. And if Scarz just say, yeah, you know what, if you want to plant the diffuser, we'll let you. We're happy to hold back. We're happy to play that retake game.
Well, I'm super excited to dive into our first best of one of the day, and I'm also super excited to finally be on a broadcast with Des and Ace.
It's a good thing you added the and Ace part there, Jasmine. Thank you very much for that one. Welcome, guys, to the first game of the day. Tim, it feels like a long time since we've been sat on air together. It's been about 4 or 5 days. We've been watching at home, and now we're ready for what's going to be a screamer of a game.
I think we're just coming in.
Every game's a screamer.
We're just coming in at a really good point now. You get to the midpoint of the Swiss. We've got teams that can go home today. We've got teams that can qualify today. We just come in when it's all happening, and I'm excited about it.
We're doing none of the best of three, so we don't get to see an elimination match. We get to watch at home with you guys with the popcorn.
We do a qualification, though.
We do a qualification. That comes up a little bit later on, games 1, 3, and 5 today. But this first one, look, you were the OG shill for this team. For Dplus Kia, Tim was the boy. He wanted all the merch. He was getting them to, like, tattoo names on him and all sorts. You were really in for it. Do you think they can do it against Scarz? They seem to kind of found a little bit of a Achilles heel against, shall we say?
Yeah, I mean, the reason that I got on board so much with, with Dplus Kia at the time was they were just enjoyable. It was just exciting siege to watch. You know, they'd go in, they'd surprise people. We had upsets in the old APAC North region, and it was just a lot of fun. And I think that's something that they keep in their game, and I always... Yeah, there's a feeling for me with Dplus Kia, no matter what the form has been like, and it's hard to put into words, but I just feel like they can always win. I always feel like it's on the table for them coming into a game, and it certainly is today. Scarz, yeah, again, they've got a very good chance. Two teams that know each other very, very well. I'm expecting a really close matchup between these two.
It's a really strange timeline when we're saying that Dplus Kia aren't the underdog, and actually it's their opponents coming in that are the underdogs in the form of Scarz. Names that many won't recognise on the international stage, but the desk touched on it. Woogie, Rek, they have been the two big players in this game, the only ones to have gone positive for both teams so far. So they're the ones to watch out for. But what really impresses me the most about these two teams, and I say impresses, it's more of like an impressive fact, both teams have the same attack-defense record. 6 attack wins, 3 defense wins. And those are across maps that many will consider quite defender-sided. Oregon, Villa, and Cafe being those 3 maps. So here coming in towards Cafe, shock horror, it's what many again will consider a very boxy map, very, very attacker-leaning. I look back to the days of APAC North, and we'd see these teams playing in it. Cafe was almost impossible, not just in APAC North, but really around the world for some teams to attack into. Now, the meta has moved on a little bit, but I think it can be really exciting to see how things shape up going in towards this game, because it's going to be, Tim, the battle of the defences. Whoever comes out stronger in defence, in my opinion, will win this game.
It's kind of the beauty as well, Des, of the change in the regions that we've seen. So obviously, as we've said, APAC is no longer a thing. We're looking at regions individually now, which is very, very important, because, when we talk about, say, for example, the way that maps are played, when all the teams were playing against each other regularly, then yes, they would be playing similar metas, similar strategy. Even here today is, you'll have it more sort of regionalised. So you'll have the Korean way of playing Cafe, you'll have the Japanese way of playing Cafe, and then you start to get those regional styles broken down even further and coming together at international events like this. So it's fantastic to see, and I'm really looking forward to this matchup. We're going to get into things now. There is a bit of an advantage. I think you've mentioned already the attacking prowess of both of these sides. Scarz come in on the attack. This game could be won or lost on the defence. A team that comes out and has a solid defensive half is really going to put the pressure onto the other side. So Dplus Kia, they've got the first opportunity there. We can see they've got a presence throughout the map. They're going to be down in kitchen to begin with, so it's going to have to be a full map clearance for Scarz.
It is. They've gone for the extension out towards VIP, so on and so forth, but I think with a lot of these teams, Japanese, Korean teams, you're expecting to see a little bit of madness, especially from the Japanese teams. I look back to 2 or 3 years ago when we had like fathers back playing at Dream at Valencia, and they were that team that would just be at every window and doorway. They'd bring some wacky comps, and they beat a few big name teams at the time just by playing absolute madness, and it is very much the Japanese style. Glass is a very popular operator. You're seeing it come through here again very early into the round as well. 45 seconds in, they've blitzed their way forward, and Soldier's been shut down, side-swiped out there by another member of Scarz. So 1 for 1 so far. You're feeling a little bit beat up because you've lost your hard breacher potentially, but that Glass is still on side, and they still have 2 smoke bolts available in Wishoi's back pocket.
Harper's just going to be holding that long angle. Harper, of course, previously of Sandbox Gaming, comes across to Dplus Kia along with Soldier, who moved across from Talon. So that is the roster changes that we have seen recently for them. We're going to have Tayu just moving in there, but it's Rek who's going to pick up the kill. He's going to pick up another one, Des. Takes down the Woogie Man inside a kitchen. And that's going to leave us now in a 3 versus 2 as Yas. He manages to find Washoi, and that at least does some work for Dplus Kia to keep themselves in. Courted could be in a crucial position here, but I think that Scarz are aware of his location, Des.
They must have the idea because they heard him impact out the 2 air jabs that were on that doorway inside a small bake earlier on. Now going in for the plant, though, and Tayo's going to be able to finish this one off. They had a good little side swipe there from Pion as well, holding off towards the right-hand side. It's down to Yas, arguably the player that you'd want in this situation. Already found 2 for himself in the round, but it's a lot to do when you can see that Scarz are just holding here pretty patiently and waiting for him to step forwards.
He knows where one is after the flash is thrown, but it is going to burn 5 seconds of his time as he waits for his screen to clear. Yas moving in, knows that there's one behind the bomb chassis. Can he go in and get this first kill? The cover is there from Bakery, though it's not going to be easy, and he knows that that is the case. Just trying to wiggle around, see if he can find any angle whatsoever. I really love that use of utility there from Tayu. It's been absolutely fantastic. Yas, it's done and dusted. He might get himself a kill, but he's going to get no more than that. Tayu pops up for the trade at the same time. A lot of energy coming out of Scarz, but I just want to touch back, Des, on that utility use from Tayu. Absolutely beautiful. Had 3 flashes in pocket, gets the diffuser down, doesn't spam them all at once, has the presence of mind to think, right, I'm putting 7 to 10 seconds in between each of these flashes, and I'm going to make it continually difficult for Yas to do anything in this 1v2.
Absolutely that, and I think really Yas a little bit starved out there. I really thought we'd see him commit a little bit more strongly to a direction, because ultimately there he let that clock just burn away down to about 30 seconds and was forced into a less than favourable fight that you saw him get caught in the crossfire. You know, for a player of his caliber, think about events before when Yas has quite literally ran over teams solo and dominated games with the teams that he's been on. I'm always expecting to see him do well. Hasn't really popped off this tournament the way that we know that he can, but maybe we start to see it a little bit here today. 3 kills in that first round, but ultimately Scarz the one who come ahead as a team.
Going to be heading then up to the top floor for Dplus Kia this time. Going to decide that Kitchen was a no-go. I don't think that they were too close, really. There was a couple of kills in the mid-round that sort of kept Dplus Kia in it. But I've got to give credit to Scarz. I think they were all over that. We expected the attacking sides to do well coming into this. Cafe, for one, lends itself towards attacking a little bit. But also the fact that they've done so well previously. And as I said, a good defensive half will probably be enough to win this for either of these teams. It's not started off the way that Dplus Kia might have liked. Yas, he's going to try to start this round off a little better on the Solus downstairs, trying to chase those drones, trying to pick up those early entries, but I think Fishlike knows exactly what is going on.
It's not just him by himself. He's got a player behind him as well, looking to play quite hot for trades here, and it's Rek as well. What a wrecking force to have marching on through the map, but you're still going to be able to capitalize on this and find yourself a freebie. There's no one hanging out towards Red, but there is one just off to his right inside of Wheel, and I think Yas knows about this as well. He's heard the footsteps, he knows what's coming, and he's the player, as I said, that you want in these entry engagements.
Fishlike just peeking around this corner. Drone goes in. It's as easy as that. What a demonstration of how to work together as a team to get those entry kills. Fishlike showing great presence of mind to go in there and get that opener.
Beautiful.
Gets a double as well, taking down Harper and Woogie Man, and Scarz are well on top of round 2.
It's the bait play off the back of the drones as well. Drones are going in, and within a second there's someone straight on top of them looking to capitalize on a kill, and was sure just find Soldier for free, who had no idea what was going on. The only way I could summarize this round is a little bit of blindness coming out from Dplus Kia. They've walked into positions there. I mean, Yas, slightly unfortunate, assumed that he'd be sprayed out from the window, so he turns to his left. At the same time, someone swings from the mining entrance. Just small things there working against them, but honestly, the drone play into the fragging plays coming out from Scarz, beautiful stuff. There's the kind of fundamentals that, you know, being blunt, we've seen missing from teams like Scarz historically. It's been a little bit chaotic, a little bit frantic at points, but here, you're seeing the bare basics of Siege executed to perfection.
I think when we saw Scarz yesterday against Revan, it was a little bit of a pendulum for them. You know, you'd have a couple of rounds where they looked electric, and then you'd have a couple of rounds where they just didn't really show up, and Revan were able to take advantage. So for me, Scarz come in with a very good first 2 rounds, really on top of things like the entry play that we saw there, absolutely beautiful. You know, more of that is going to get them this one done. But what we need to see from Scarz now, what you need to watch out for at home, of course, is that consistency. Do they keep doing this round to round? They've got themselves 2. For me, the next 2 rounds, round 3 and round 4, are going to be particularly important for Scarz. If they can win at least one of them, so they sit 3-1 after 4, then absolutely brilliant start for them.
Here we are.
And if it's 2-2, we start questioning that consistency.
I love how they've just really doubled down on everything here as well. It's the Glads and the Capital again, but this time we've got the Blitz with 2 smokes in back pocket as well.
Why not?
Just a real hard commit, because ultimately, if Dplus are struggling to deal with that style of play, why change away? Just keep on coming at them thick and fast, you know, thick being the smoke, fast being the blitz here, and just keep on blitzing your way through. Pun not intended. Here we go with a potential VIP push coming in as well. One player a little bit isolated, as Rex almost found one for himself too, and look at that! We don't care about your smokes or your shotguns! We're charging on through with a shield and getting a freebie! Wreck into a second, and yet again, Dplus have been absolutely blitzed off it, but Soldier finally steps up, the ex-Talon frontman coming up in the back line.
Yeah, Dplus have actually stood up to this initial rush pretty well. Not maybe immediately. They lost those couple of players as they went in. You know, the blitz opening up, Tayu managing to get the entry kill, but Dplus Kia were not rocked by it. They've managed to hold the line and get themselves a man advantage, which is cut back as Washoi manages to get himself one and level things out at 2 versus 2. Des, look at the clock with 2 versus 2, 1 minute and 10 into the round. Scarz have got an absolute lifetime here to be able to drone out this site, to see what's going on, and to get the read. There you go, exactly what they are doing. Playing this well now, Scarz.
It's very true, and there's not really much utility on the side of the attackers here. You know, they're staring down, no smokes with the glass on side, not super ideal. The Ash, no claymores on side to help with the flanks, it's just those breaching charges. If they really wanted to commit super heavy to trying to do this air quotes by the book, they might try and make some vertical control here and see what they can force. But I think trying to look for the 2v1s, isolating little individual players, probably a good shout here. Now, Washoi, not 100% sure where his drones are. I know the icons on his player card say they're not out, but top right of the screen they are. So they have been scattered out. They've got this little bit of information. You've seen yellow pings flying back and forth between both teams. Pion here looking to cause a little bit of a surprise, and Washoi has found another. That's 2 1v1s that he's managed to isolate, and suddenly we've gone from a 3v2 to a 1 versus 2.
Defending continues to be the problem, at least for Dplus Kia then, as they have squandered a 3 versus 2 advantage in terms of man count, and now allowed Scarz into a position to put that diffuser down again. It happened last time around in Kitchen.
He got him!
Beautiful nitro from Soldier, and then follows it up with a final kill onto Pion, and that is exactly what Dplus needed at that point in time. Dplus Kia coming in there, important round. As I said, there's round 3, round 4, both key to see and measure Scarz's consistency. If Dplus Kia can get round 4, all of a sudden, it's game on.
So mad. When we came down to that 2 versus 2, I was thinking, oh, no real utility here for Scarz, nothing to work with. There's a C4 in the back pocket, a Soldier they can make good use of. But when it came to a 1 versus 2, I'm really surprised he was given the breathing room to make use of that C4. And maybe not the best call coming out from Pion as well to push in the 1 versus 1 to get locked into a vault animation. You're just inviting a freebie there to come across from Soldier. You know, big clutch up from Dplus there. I think they'll be ecstatic at the single fact they've got a single defensive round in that first quarter of the match, and Scarz kicking themselves that it's not currently 3-0.
On we go, round 4, reading room. Dplus Kia really need to, for me, lock this one down. It gives them an opportunity, gets them back into the game, and it also starts to raise those consistency issues, not just for us, but probably in the minds of Scarz as well, knowing that they've been a little bit up and down so far. They're going to want to be, getting on top of opponents more, keeping themselves in that position of advantage. So we're going to have a top floor hold coming out from Dplus Kia to begin with. Looks like there's going to be a presence out in Piano, so that is a full commit really. Sometimes we'll see teams just holding on to sort of the area around Cocktail where Woogieman is now, trying to hold on to that, hold on to Lumber, top white stairs. You sort of give up Piano, and I don't think they'll hold on to it too hard. They don't need to. With this setup that they've gone for, I actually really like this. Woogieman plays the mirror window. He's got the walls opened up. He can challenge all the way across to Piano. They do need to be cautious of those east windows though.
Just a quick note as well. We came into this game obviously talking about Woogie. He's currently 0-3, yes. Not doing so great previously, now up at 4-3. Soldier, who was, I believe, bottom of the team as well. After changing from being on Talon Esports, being a Zofia player, mainly playing that flex role, has been moved into a very supportive one here for Dplus, really shining in this game, obviously off the back of that clutch in the previous round, but just goes to show how typical Siege can be sometimes, that it goes up and down and up and down. One thing going down, though, Coated. Rek is on a killing spree once again. 2 in the round, up to 5-2 in the game. He has not fallen off. Where Woogie's got a little bit quieter, Rek carries on.
Yeah, Rek like a freight train through Cafe.
I thought you were going to say a wrecking ball.
No, not yet. We'll save that for later. I'm sure there'll be opportunity. Fishlak is going to take down Woogieman, so his wars continue at the minute, and that leaves a 5 versus 2 for Scarz. They've absolutely run over this mid-floor site. There's Fishlak. He moves up the stairs, cut down by Soldier, who gets himself another, and the fight back is on for Dplus Kia.
Something about worse got in the game. The man's just slaying him, and again it's a 5 versus 2, brought down to only a 3 versus 2. Scarz will be kicking themselves if they lose this round. There is no way with 90 seconds on the clock that you should be losing a 5 versus 2. You've got time to get back on the drones, time to figure things out. If this ends up in 2-2, Scarz are going to have to take a timeout, because it would have been 2 very winnable situations they'll have given away to Dplus.
So he's just getting on the drones. He sees the man, knows exactly where the Pulse of Soldier is playing. Going to be heading in. They've can't get that wall breached, as you can see right-hand side of your screen, just inside the player card. We've got the gadget just glitching out because of the jammer that it's been caught up in. Tahu is going to have a little challenge coming out of Laundry there, but it's Piano who manages to move in and gets the first onto Yas. It's all up to Soldier. Cut down this time. There will be no clutch for Dplus Kia, and that is going to be round 4 taken by Scarz, leaving them 3-1 up, and that is certainly a good start to proceedings here on Cafe.
That was exactly what we wanted to see there as well. Just stop and breathe. They were in a position from a 5v2 down to a 3 versus 2, and we're just like, right, boys, put the brakes on, get on the drones, find out where these 2 players are, and they knew exactly where they were. Fallen bookcase and playing the rotate in between Laundry and in towards sites itself. It was, clinical. They knew what they had to do, push down and control Red, looked to put pressure on the player inside of Laundry, forced them in towards site, and then had a couple of players looking to swing here at the same time. Soldier was in a really good spot here. I think he could have isolated out 2 separate 1v1s there, and he did kind of get it, but Choi equally is not slowing down this game. He's sat at 6-3 so far.
Couple of big performers coming out on either side at the minute. Soldier deserves a mention as well on the side of Dplus Kia, 8-3, but it just hasn't been enough yet for the Korean side to be able to really convert it into rounds on the board, which is what's going to matter. 3-1 we stand now in favour of Scarz, and they are just going to look to continue rolling. They need to take advantage of this attacking opportunity on Cafe. I think they will be seriously eyeing up a potential 5-1 here. Going back up to top floor, it's going to be Cocktail and Bar, which we saw back in round 2. Scarz won it, and they're going to be looking for a 4-1.
Alrighty, onwards we march. A bit more normal comp coming out on the attacking side as well for the side of Scarz after that timeout. We've seen the madness of with the Brava previously, we had the Glass, the Capitao, the Blitz. We've seen all kinds of crazy stuff, whereas here on the top floor, things are looking a little bit more normal, should we say. On the defensive side, we're seeing Yas once again moving over towards playing on that Solus as well. We've seen that a few times throughout the half. I think what we're seeing with Solus, we saw this back at SI as well, just so ludicrously oppressive. Teams making use of that, bullying other teams when it came around to best of 3 series. And look back at Dart Zero versus Secret, probably still is the most oppressive use of Solus I think I've ever seen. Consistently, 6 drones dead inside about 60 seconds. Secret just, constantly in full recall.
It feels like they're trying to take away the value of gaining control of Piano almost. They've actually double reinforced between Washroom and Barback storage. So if you manage to get yourself into Piano, get control of White Corridor and into Washroom, you don't have that easy access through into Barback storage anymore. Instead, they've opened a rotate from Piano directly into Barback storage, which does give that access, but it's easier to manage because you can manage it from deep inside of Cocktail through the soft wall where we saw the mirror window placed previously. They haven't gone for the mirror this time, but I like the idea from Dplus Kia. We'll see if Scarz do get in and take control of Piano, how much value is there in it?
Yeah, and yes, rather than being the kind of early round drone hunter here, actually he's opted to play more out on the roam himself, and I believe also making use of the gadget to kind of work his way slowly back up towards site. Here you can see them from below as well, and who's sat on drone, who's doing what. A lot of yellow pings are coming out when he was sat under the full cams as well, and here comes a run out as well. Here he goes, straight out the door and finds Bashoy by himself and straight back into safety. Great little play coming out from Yas.
You feel like that's the sort of play at the minute that Dplus Kia are going to need.
Oh, yeah.
They just need to surprise Scarz a little bit, force them to continue. We saw Scarz play in the entry game very well. We saw them chasing down the Solus of Yas previously. And that's just a message to say, you're not going to get away with curbing that. You have to keep doing it. You have to, round after round after round, pay that due diligence and make sure you're finding that roamers, because otherwise, we're going to hurt you.
I do find it a little bit wild, really, because Scarz are playing this round so much slower. And like we said in the first 4, it's the fast pace that's really rewarded the side of Scarz when Dplus have had no time to react or respond. That's where they found success. Nade from below, I think, might just catch Soldier.
Beautiful.
Yes, it does.
Second one.
Freebie coming out, but now Coates gone down as well. 2 kills coming back in for Scarz. And suddenly, Dplus are on the back foot once again until Yas strikes. Finds 2 kills from top red. Not punished, making a 3rd. That's the Yas we're used to seeing. Goes for the ace as well. Will not find it. Rex still keeping Scarz in this with 30 seconds to go.
Yas is going to be kicking himself after that, but 4
He
kills.
saw his name in light. He knew it.
He knew he grabbed at that one, but just couldn't quite find him. We'll let him off though. 4 fantastic kills for Yas to really turn the fortunes around a little bit for Dplus Kia here. But can Rek do it? No! Harper's going to cut him down as he comes around the corner, and that was a performance I'd like to say from Dplus Kia, but let's be honest, it was really from Yas, and it was a lack of attention to that roam game. I picked up on it, Des. I said as Rek was coming in at the bottom floor, Yas had just sent them a message that and it was at this point that he sent it, you cannot stop looking for me. You cannot ignore me as a roamer. You've done it well previously, but you need to show that consistency, and that was a problem for Scarz.
I wish he picked up the ace there, because it's just, again, slap that into a YouTube reel and away you go. That's the kind of stuff that we expect from Yas as well. I've spoken about him a few times, seeing how he's played previously. I forget which NA team he was against, but he was against a team playing on bank, and the number of times that he'd flank up blue behind them when they were trying to push in towards staff and open area and just kill 3 players was absolutely ludicrous. And for the longest time, we also said, Yas probably, I think it was him and 11 for about a year or two, were the 2 players that we looked at and said, these are star players from this region. When they get going, when they're well supported, you will struggle to stop them. And I think there you've seen a little taste of that. The problem is making it consistent, and that is what we're still looking for from Dplus. But either way, they've got 2 rounds, Tim. 2 rounds that arguably Scarz will be looking at and saying, we should have won those. You get this a lot when you speak to teams after they've played a game and go, oh, how did that game go? And you're like, oh, well, obviously we lost, but really there were 4 rounds that we should have won there, so is what it is. Yas shouldn't be getting the 4K. He shouldn't be getting the flank like that. He shouldn't have such a free run out without punishment coming in. The previous round where they won with the 1 versus 2 with Soldier, again, should have probably won that one out as well, if not for a little bit of off positioning. So really, at the minute, they could be 5-0 up. They've only got themselves to blame for it. Dplus have done well to take the opportunities put before them.
They have, coming into this, I said that a good defensive half could win the game for one of these teams. If Dplus Kia come away with a 3-3, I'd say that sort of puts them into that position. They're then going to move on to the attack, which is the side that they've been better on statistically so far, not just today, but throughout the tournament. So So Dplus Kia, we expect maybe to come out with a 4-2 attacking half. Scarz are going to be on the back foot if Dplus Kia get this round. So it's a very important one here in round 6. It's going to be Kitchen again. 50-50 win rate so far. Seen it played twice. Each team has won 1 round. So this is absolutely anybody's. But what I will say is Dplus Kia would benefit massively from Coulted, Woogieman, Harper just stepping up that little bit. That could be the difference maker.
I mean, the fact that you're looking at, what, 1 and 8?
You can't have 16 kills across 2 players.
I mean, at this point now, it's what, 2 and 14 across 3 of your players? It's not the dream start you're looking for. That's again, though, where it's come down to big plays out of Yas and Soldier. Like we said, it has all been on those 2 players' back so far. Now, obviously, there's other contributions that come in towards that. Rek was looking for a bit of a backside down red once again, though, and here we go. Finally, Fishlock playing in behind the shield, and they get control of Bakery. That's what they've been looking for. Now they're going to open up sight like a sardine tin and start marching their way forwards. 2 players working their way down red. It's a good little split coming out from Scarz, but the focal point is going to be Pion on this Monty, looking to make a plant with that shield on his back.
Yeah, very difficult round for Dplus Kia coming in here for the final.
Who's on the flank? Is that Yas upstairs?
Tayu is opening things up. If he gets away with another big flank, it is going to be a problem. Yes, it is Yas on the Legion. Woogieman manages to find 1. Nice headshot onto Rek. They are aware of Yas's position. No, he's going to cut another one down, Des. And that levels things out 3-3. Now they know that Yas may come from red stairs. Dplus Kia, you feel like maybe just need to play this a little bit more carefully now, but there's going to be an opportunity for this diffuser to go down any second.
The Hunters have become the hunted here as well. Penned inside of sight. They step around, but Yas again is there. Gets another kill. Finally traded out. We're into a 2v2. Shoy wins out of the 1. Can he win the next? Not quite. But now there's a Monty online in a 2 versus 1. This round should be all but done outside of a massive screw up from Scarz.
It certainly should be. The Monty not making things easy. Shoy not going to get in there and get too aggressive. I like this. Just let Pion deal with the smoke inside of the site. Let him waste this time. Don't throw your life away because you could be an essential backup. We can see there. He's going to head outside. No, Woogieman decides to come back. He's turning left, right. He doesn't really know which way to go. Shoy's going to show him as he's going to take him out. And that's the 4-2 half that Scarz wanted and I think needed here. Dplus Kia, they were close to doing what they needed to on defence, but I think they'll still be confident coming into this second half that they can pull it back.
I mean, again, Tim, truthfully, Scarz will be kicking themselves that this isn't a 5-1, if not a 6-0. I feel in all rounds have been very dominant. Dplus have done well to win out a couple of, well, 1 clutch scenario and 1 massive multi-kill flank. And you almost saw it coming out there again when Yas got 2 kills coming on the flank. I was like, man, he cannot keep getting away with this. He's been doing it for so many events in a row, but teams still struggle to deal with him, even when they've got drones on the flank. They're watching out what's going on. I'm pretty sure they had none then, it's worth mentioning. Now, the change here you're going to see straight away is on the attacking side. Dplus, Woogieman, straight onto that Nomad. A pick that these boys play pretty much all the time, just in a bid to try and calm down what will turn out to be a very aggressive Japanese side.
Let's get into this second half.
This is a real, like, old-school APAC North classic. I absolutely love it. It reminds me so much when we used to cast the region last year.
Yeah, it really is. We'll see how this half pans out. Dplus Kia, they need this first round on attack. I'm going to put it as simply as that. If Scarz can manage to get themselves a defence, as I said, the game could be won on that side of the table. It is really going to give them the momentum that they need to push forward, I think. So, really important that Dplus Kia pick this up.
I love the lineup we've got out of Scarz as well. This is an old school classic as well. I thought we'd see it back in the first half from Dplus, but they didn't bring along the Aruni. You have the Castle, the Wamai, the Jaeger, and the Aruni all together. Those 4 operators can be so oppressive towards attacking sides. And it's almost like Dplus have read into that. Coated being on the Zofia, lots of range utility to burn through here, going through the concussions and through the impacts. Their whole goal really here is to try and shut out Dplus from getting control of Piano for as long as they can. They're going to have to commit a lot to it, and without something like a sledge on side, getting rid of the Castle barricades, you have to get up nice and close for them. You have to chuck a nade at them, for example, beat on them for a good few seconds, which invites a jump out. It can just be a real headache to try and deal with here. So again, loving the setup coming out from Scarz.
One thing to keep an eye on for yourselves at home as well. I'm going to refer back to something that it was XR Troika actually mentioned during our pre-game desk, and that is Dplus Kia's ability to hold on to plants when they get them down. Planted 5 times so far, only won 2 of the rounds. So if they start getting that diffuser down. That's something for you to keep your eye on. It could be a very decisive fact here on Cafe. Can they hold on to the post plants or not? But before we get to that stage, they've got to get themselves inside the building. This is a little bit slow so far, Des.
I mean, being dead honest with you, Tim, Scarz are not the kind of team that are going to let you, one, get away with a plan, and two, not all be dead before you even see the site. They want to go for that aggression. They want to fight you all the way through. Coated finding the first one at range, though, on towards Pixel with Shoy. I think he's burnt out half the round there, not going to feel too beat up by himself. Still tons of throwing utility in the back pockets of Dplus here as well. You know, looking down at all the flashes are on side, the frags are in the back pocket, the smokes are there for Woogie. They've got loads to still burn through, and I'm just concerned that with that still needing to be used against some of the gadgetry coming out from Scarz, they might just find themselves completely running out of time here. Soldier almost trying to look prime one through the window too. And I think it was Yas who hit the deck behind the stage and took a couple more bullets, but the reduction through the soft surface didn't see him finished off. Here's Rek though onto Woogie, and like I said, if you don't get on them nice and quick here, Scarz are going to want to try and play into you. They'll be the ones going aggressive, and they are fighting Dplus literally on the entry into the building.
Yep, Scarz looking pretty good for this one. 40 seconds left to go. Still players on rappel, still players up on the roof for Dplus. Kia not going to be in a position for a plant, and Scarz are certainly not going to give them any opportunities for kills that they don't have to. Coated almost managing to pick one up across the top floor there. I'm not sure if he's aware that there's one just in front of the stage, though. Rek is just holding his position. As soon as he hears that rappel, it's going to be danger. Going to have to just try and push in here. Managed to get one, but it's immediately traded back by Rek. He gets shut down, though, now. Down, but not out.
Time.
And the time is going to factor. 8 seconds left to go. Dplus Kia have no option but to try and find these kills. Des unlikely to be able to get that diffuser down. Coated with one. It's effectively a 1v2. Tayo manages to hold on, and that's going to be a great first defense for Scarz.
That's what I mean, like 15 seconds left and you've still got a player in Piano and in Cigar. Dplus will be looking at that and be saying, boys, what was going on? We had all the flashes, we had all the frags in back pocket, we had Zophia's utility still on side. Sure, they cleared out some of the castle barricades without using them, but this is why teams will burn through them relatively early on. They want to get control, they want to move in and start making things happen. Look again here, look, 15 seconds on the clock, and they're only just starting to make their move. If you're doing this at 30 seconds left, maybe you get away with it and you win the 1 versus 1 inside a cocktail, because Rek was on his backside there. Tayo was literally the only player left standing. So again, just being caught up in the sauce a little bit there, I feel, on the side of Dplus. They'll be kicking themselves there. Scarz delighted though with how that defense went.
Going to be round 8. Scarz, as you say, delighted at this point and in a commanding position here. Dplus Kia, honestly, Des, just looking a little bit muted overall. They just don't seem to be. It's kind of weird. They're getting kills within rounds. They got 3 kills in that one and a down, but they're just never quite getting enough. They're only ever getting sort of 70% of what they need, and that's where I say it's a little bit muted. It's kind of like they're sort of screaming into a pillow. You know, the volume's there to begin with, but it's just not all quite getting through.
Rek has just been an absolute monster. Here he is again, trying to make magic happen. Again, this is their playstyle, though. It's this constant aggression, double jump outs coming in from Rek and Shoy. The two of them together have been a lightning rod, it feels, in this game. 19 and 10 between them. Again, always being up at the front line, trying to keep Dplus slowed down. So much so that Dplus have kind of taken a leaf out of Scarz's book and put Coated on the Monty. We used to see this a little bit back in the old days. It wasn't really kind of their go-to standard. But here I feel it's more a sign of the panic, I think, and Rek, please, come on, buddy. We've gone way back. If that gets the Monty, you must be joking! What?
It's not even an uncommon nitro. You've got to be careful when you stood at kitchen door. Honestly, it's genuinely
this is a wind-up.
For people watching at home. Take it into your rank games.
Don't get me wrong. It's a great nitro.
Open the window, launch it out. It lands at kitchen door. Dplus Kia, they've got to be aware of that. You can't leave your Monty stood there, because guess what's going to happen? You're going to lose your Monty, and it's a big problem.
2 jump outs, a run out. They know what Scarz are like. They know this aggression is coming. Surely they hear
Somebody should have heard the glass breaking.
I was just about to say, someone should have heard that glass being broken and been like, right, boys, back away. Let's look at what's going on, reassess. But they carry on staring at Bakery and they lose the tip of the spear. They've lost the Monty. He was going to be the driving force in this round. Now they're down to 4 versus 5. They've got no nades in the back pocket of Harper, for example. Almost fine with Shoy, but he still walks away, and Yas is in a little bit of a dangerous spot. Loses out to Shoy. In fact, it's a 1-for-1 trade. You will not complain about bringing down on the Finker, though.
Struggling to get that bakery wall open. They've had to work right out to that right-hand side to avoid the mute jammer because they've simply got no utility to deal with that mute jammer. So now Dplus Kia having to work with sort of suboptimal breaches to be able to get through. Peon, second nitro of the game. This time Peon Rec was the first. Tayu picks up Woogieman and it is falling apart like a house of cards, coming tumbling down, Des, for Dplus Kia. And right now, Scarz are the benefactors.
They just rule this roost right now, Scarz. Those previous 2 rounds, playing without fear is the best way I can describe it. They don't care that Dplus used to be the semi-finalists, were 1 round away from a grand final back at the Sweden Major. They're just playing their game here. We're all living in their world, and my God, Dplus are paying the price.
Like, these mistakes is the problem for Dplus Kia. You know, there's fights that should be won, there's nitros that should not be landing. Dplus Kia, you just feel like at the beginning of the game, sort of round 3, round 4, they felt competitive. It feels like that's just really dropped off for me now. They're back to round 1 and 2, Dplus Kia, where they're just getting steamrolled by Scarz.
What I love is that for so many events, the Japanese team that we've all got used to seeing at international events has been CAG. Who by themselves, it's worth noting, great team. Run some teams over. I'll never ever forget their game against eventual Mexico major champions in the form of Team 1. They got bullied.
It was 2 in the morning.
Oh, mate, what a game.
For us.
No, that was a different game altogether, this one. This was just an absolute bullying of a game where they kept them outside the front doors of Oregon. They were jumping out windows like 90 seconds into the rounds. They were phenomenal, a very good team. And we've always wondered, are we going to see a team of that caliber appear from Japan at any point? I think Scarz are showing that really CAG aren't the only ones. And look at the... They're just playing with such confidence. Windows, 2 or 3 of them being watched. Dplus are stuck in spawn. There are 3 players that can't move. Look at it.
That's it. They've burnt 30 seconds at this point with Dplus Kia not even being able to take a step towards the building. And you can just feel Scarz have really got their... They've got that excitement for the game. They taste the blood in the water. They know that it's right on the edge, that they're 6-2. They can start taking a few risks. They've won 2 sites comprehensively. So, yeah, let's just throw a bit of silliness at this round. If we don't win, we're going back somewhere that we've already won before, not the end of the world. So it's certainly looking good for Scarz. They're just playing ridiculously confidently at the minute.
Will they drone Wreck? He's sat on 15 HP. A single bullet from any of the attackers will be enough to put him in the grave. But... that's the problem. They've got to drone in first, and you still got Bushoy up here as well. They're happy to waste time, just keep on chewing their way through. Drone sat upstairs, it's no real bother on their side. They've only got rid of the 4 so far, and I really thought for a second then Bushoy was fancying himself a chance. Now they've seen him. They know that Rek is here. He should be dead to rights.
Tayu gets Woogieman to open things open. It just puts Dplus Kia even further towards a bad result here. Soldier, there you go. Finds his man, takes down Rek with a headshot through the glass. Not the end of the world for Scarz, though. Half of the round wasted, and Rek only had about 15 health. If you're going to burn 30 seconds for that, that for me is good value. Peon, he's going to move himself into the freezer, so still top floor, not in the control of Dplus Kia.
3-speed Malusi out on the roam. You love to see it. And the beauty here is now they've reinforced this wall off. A bit of a risk to do so as well. They could have swung onto that if you weren't too careful. But again, they've now got an extra line of defense to work on through, and it's just putting more and more hurdles in front of Dplus. Ones that get proceedingly higher, giving them more things to jump over. Bushoy, he looks Sugoi off in the back line, finds 2 for himself. It's exactly the same as we saw from Yas back in the first half. They have decimated them for the most part. Yas throwing them a little bit of a lifeline, but it's a 2v3 for Dplus.
It looks like it could be over at this point. 40 seconds left to go. Dplus Kia need to get something going. They've got a little bit of top floor control, something they could potentially work with, but they just don't really have the tools, Des. They've nothing to open up any significant amount of vertical destruction. If they try the Hibana pellets, for example, they're just going to get shot off from below. So very little in the way that they can do with that. It's going to come down to having to push this laterally, get themselves downstairs through the hatch. The drop is going to come. It's being watched. As soon as Soldier goes down, surely he'll come under fire. Yes, he does. But manages to turn around, get the kill onto Tayu. 1v2. It's Washoy and Fishlike to finish things off for Scarz. And what a performance from our Japanese team to take Cafe.
Not even close. Dplus got some work to do. Scarz reveling in that victory. Back in 30 seconds.